Hello everybody. So if you have something to help balance to stand up, we're going to do some standing stuff. That's great, like a pole or a person or whatever. If not, that's totally cool too. And a disc, we're going to do some stuff with a disc as well. So if you have a disc available, go for it. If at any point you have questions or thoughts or anything over what we're doing, please don't hesitate to let me know. I want this to be as helpful as possible, so please ask questions. I like that we got the field background there. That's pretty cool. High tech. All right, so we'll get started here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the shoulders. We're going to do a lot of shoulder stuff here today because that is a big area that tends to get injured for ultimate. So first thing you're going to do is take your left arm, which I know for a lot of us is our non-dominant arm. You're going to bring it out to your side, just like that. So elbows right up to the side. And we're not doing anything, not pushing through pain with anything here. So we're going to rotate our shoulder down like this. That's internal rotation. Then we're going to rotate our shoulder up and back as far as we can. That's external rotation. Already got people staring at me through the window. And then we're going to continue. We're just going to go internal, external, as far as you can without pain each direction. So as you're doing it, I want you to think about not letting your elbow move. Your elbow's staying locked. You're going internal, external. And just pushing as far as you can. Feel what that feels like in your shoulder. So I know most of this aren't lefties, but I am. But when you throw, there's a lot of shoulder rotation involved. And when it comes to shoulders and hips, rotation is really, really important for improving overall joint health. So just get a couple more here. As far as you can go, which for a lot of you is going to be further than me. Nice. All right, and then we can switch up the arm. So same thing, we'll bring the right arm and tune in. See if, like your throwing arm, you get different rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if you have more external. So we're going to go internal rotation, external rotation. All right, think about your biceps moving. You want your biceps to turn without the elbow moving. All right, so we're trying to rotate as much as we can, internally and externally. Someone out in traffic just honked. I don't think they like this. That's all right, it's not for them. So get a couple more here. Tune into where your limitations are. You know, are you getting further with this or not as much? Again, throwing arm, we tend to get a little bit more external rotation. If you think about a pitcher too, tends to be a lot more of that. All right, so what we're going to do next is go back to your left shoulder. We're going to do full cars, controlled articular rotations. So these are like the foundation of mobility training, joint health training. So we're going to externally rotate like this, cut across the body, reach up high, internally rotate. Remember, we just worked on that. Reach back behind you, come back down to your side. I'm going to kneel just so you can see me fully. Then you're going to reach back behind, externally rotate, rotate the biceps, reach up as high as you can, bring that biceps down across your face and down. And I'll remind you, no pain. So if you encounter painful range, you want to just cut that circle a little bit smaller. So we'll go again. So if you're thinking about developing a nice mobility practice, injury prevention practice, these rotations are going to be your foundation. This is really helpful. We're going to reach behind, chest stays up, externally rotate, reach up as high as you can, cut across the body. Awesome. So now we get a switch. So we're going to go other shoulder. We're going to cut across, and we're coming up tall. I had some smilers and wavers outside. That's fun. Reach up. As soon as you meet some resistance here, you're going to start internally rotating. Rotate away, reach back behind you, just like that. Good. Then we're going to reverse. Reach back, externally rotate, reach up, and across. So for those of you not as familiar with this, this is something, biggest thing is big circle, no pain. without the rest of the body moving. We're going to cut across again. So if you sort of lose track of what you're trying to do, we're here, internally rotate. Just think about drawing a big circle without pain. And if you have decently healthy joints, your body sort of knows what to do. So as you go back, in order to get more range here, we kind of have to rotate. So we're going to externally rotate, reach up, come across, and down. All right, now we're having fun. It's official. So now we're going to do some hips. So same idea, but with the hips. If you have something to stabilize you, like a wall or a person or a pole, cool. If not, that's no worries. So we're going to start with the same thing with the hips. Knee is going to be straight out in front of you. The kneecap stays still. And we're going to internally and externally rotate. So internal rotation is this way. External is this way. All right, your idea is your thigh muscle is staying, or is rotating. Okay, so your thigh is rotating, your thigh bone, as much as possible. Your pelvis, ideally, is staying pretty still. All right, so that's internal there, that's external. These are foundational. The better you rotate, the better your hips work overall. You can relax the hip there for a moment. All right, and then we get to switch. So we'll do the same thing, other side. Knee up. And if this doesn't feel great, you can always bring your knee down a little bit. That's totally okay. We're going to go internal rotation, external. And here, this is a good opportunity for you to check out which hip moves more or less in each direction. It might be similar, but with ultimate, like if you're pivoting a lot, we're one-handed, right? So you're going to probably have some asymmetries based on how we pivot. All right, so check in there. You can relax for a moment there. Hips take a little bit more energy. So this stuff is also a really good way to prep before playing, recover after playing. I always do the rotations, the cars. Again, controlled articular rotations before and after playing. So now, left hip, we're going to do the full thing, just like we do with the shoulders. So what you're going to do is take that left knee, bring it across your midline, up high, pry the knee out away from your belly button. Don't let your belly button move though. Ankle comes up, reach back behind. Then you're going to drive the heel back, pull the knee and ankle up towards your left shoulder, knee comes high, and across. Beautiful. And then we're going to do 100 more. Very exciting. Now you don't have to do that many. But we'll do one more. Up, out, lift the ankle if you can, or reach back. And I'll remind you again, we don't want to push through any pain. We'll drive back. So a lot of ultimate players I've worked with tend to get pain in and around the groin, hip flexor area. So when you're doing this, the best way to try to reduce pain, reduce inflammation, you can relax now, is to do it in a pain-free range only. So for example, one really common theme I see is a certain degree of hip flexion causes pain in the hip flexor area or the groin. So what you would do is you would do your rotation and you just wouldn't bring your knee up as high. And doing a lot of reps with low pain or no pain is going to help improve your range over time and make your joint healthier. So let's go ahead and switch hips. Right hip. Knee is coming up and across as high as you can go. Pry that knee out. Ankle goes back. Reach back behind you and down. And then we're driving the heel back. Pull the knee and ankle up high towards the shoulder. That ankle is going to have to drop, and then we're going to bring the knee across and down. So think about that internal-external rotation. So we're coming across, we're externally rotated. As you pry out, we start internally rotating that hip. You're turning that femur as you reach back behind, right? And then drive back, pull up, across, and down. Awesome. You can take a little breather there for a moment. Awesome. Shake out the legs. Any thoughts or questions so far? Are we doing all right? Pretty good? All right, cool. So next up, we're going to come down. If you're able to come down to the floor, awesome. If you don't want to. You don't want to come down to the floor. You can have your hands on a table or a chair or something, and you can do this just like this. Okay, so we can go here, quadruped position. We're going to work on the spine. Super important when we're running, jumping. We need to be really solid and healthy through our midsection. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to transfer force very well. So we're here. We're going to start with our low back. We're going to droop down as much as you can. Start with our low back, and we're going to tuck, round, and spread like a wave to round our spine all the way up to our chin. From this rounded position, then we're going to start with our low back again. We're going to untuck and droop down and spread like a wave to the upper back and the chin. Okay, then we get to do one more like that. So, tuck, round the low back first, tuck the pelvis, let it spread, let that spine spread like a wave, rounding to the upper back and the chin. And then one more time, untuck, droop down, extend. Awesome. Now we get to lead with the upper back and the chin. So from here, you droop down, keep that droop in your low back, tuck the chin, round through the upper back, round through the mid back, and then the low back. Nice big C shape with your spine. Again, no pain. We don't want to push through pain. Then you're going to look up, droop through your upper back, try to hold the rounding through your low back as long as you can, and you're going to slowly spread the droop to your low back. And then we'll go one more time. So we're going to tuck, round, as much as you can, get that nice C shape. Beautiful. Look up, droop through the upper back, droop through the mid back, and then lower back. Awesome. All right, so for the spine, we've got all these different segments, and it's really important that our segments all at least move somewhat. So a big theme here is joint movement is essential. And it's essential for like the ability of our joints to continue to keep themselves healthy. So we need movement to reduce inflammation. We need movement for fluids to get in and out. So each points of your spine is like a little segment that needs to move. So I would recommend filming yourself doing this stuff so that you can see which points move less, which points move more. And then we can focus on that. Since we're here, again, you can do this seated if you'd like. We're going to work on the knees. So knees are another big, literally a big pain point, particularly for ultimate players. What we're going to do is take our right knee and put it right out in front of us, and we're going to rotate to try to turn the shin back and forth. All right. And Elena, I can't tell from here, but I hope you've been practicing. It seemed from your highlight video or your tryout video that the knee's doing well. You're jumping like really, really hot, so.
Thanks, killing it.
So really important for the knees that we do this rotation. When the knees don't have adequate rotation, it makes us more susceptible to injury. Things like ACL tears tend to happen with rotational movement, when something's planted and then something hits, or we just have a rotational force that acts on it. So just tune into that shin, and you want to try to get it to rotate as much as you can each direction. You can press your endpoints as well. All right, and then we can switch up the knees. So this is a really good recovery one, and this is a really good one. So if you get knee pain, knee achiness, or swelling, this tends to be a relatively pain-free movement for most people. Even in people that I've encountered that have knee pain, usually they can get their knee at least to rotate some without pain. So you're trying to rotate as much as you can. It tends to be that internal rotation doesn't happen quite as well. Okay, we usually don't get quite as far there. So internally towards your midline, if you don't get very far there, that's okay. It's all about just trying to encourage a little bit more pain-free movement. Very fun. Now, Now it gets really fun. We get to do the ankles. So that's another big one. Ankles, ankles. So we're going to go back to the right ankle. I'm going to have you hook your elbow under your right leg if you can. If you're seated or you don't feel like hooking under, you can just stick your leg out or pull your knee in. So we're like this, hooked under. We're going to draw a big circle with our big toe, with our ankle. Okay, so you're pointing, rotating, pull up, rotate. You're trying to draw as big a circle as you possibly can. And just observe, see how this is feeling. So part of our goal with these rotations is to get your nervous system, get your tissues of your body as well, more acclimated to your end ranges. Let's go ahead and switch directions. So same ankle, you're just going the other direction now. So a lot of times in our daily life, we don't explore our end ranges, at least not all of them. We might explore a couple of them. Then when we end up there, inevitably, our body is less prepared for it. Neurologically as well as just physically, tissue-wise. So this is a way to, one, maintain joint health. It helps with joint maintenance. Two, prepare our body for where it will inevitably end up. You can relax that leg. If anything I'm saying, or all of what I'm saying doesn't make sense, please feel free to ask for clarification, or tune me out. So now, same thing, we're going to hook under, bring the other ankle up, give you a little different view here. Boom, point, we're going to rotate and pull. So if you think about athletics, and particularly ultimate, where it's very free moving, we're going to end up in a ton of different ranges of motion. I mean, your ankle is going to end up in, as well as your knee, your shoulder, a bunch of different ranges, and it's going to have to produce force there. So that's where the active control is really, really important. Then we'll switch directions, same ankle. So not only does it have to get there, you have to be strong there and produce force there, because if my ankle ends up here with a bunch of my weight on it, when I trip over myself defending someone, I need to be able to produce force there to reduce the chance of injury or mitigate an injury. Let's relax for a moment. Whew, all right, cool. So next up, what I want to do is stand up. You don't have to, but you know, let me move this screen up for a moment. I'm going to have you grab a disc if you've got one available. All right, and just rip it right into the screen. Just kidding. So we're going to work on the wrists. This is fun. So I've been really enjoying this myself. Let's start with your dominant hand. Okay, your dominant hand, might not be mine. Your goal is going to be to not move your forearm. Okay, and I'm going to show you real quick, and you can try this without the disc first. So first, we want to extend, rotate towards our pinky, pull up, rotate towards our thumb. I'll turn a little bit so you can see my forearm is not moving. I'm drawing a big circle, well, a kind of small circle, with my wrist, right? It's going to be smaller than you want it to be. Now let's try the other direction. Pull, rotate towards your pinky, extend. As you rotate towards your thumb and you scrape through this direction, you're not going to get a lot of range. Okay, that is totally normal. You might feel those muscles in your forearm burning a little bit. Shake it out a moment, relax for a moment, then we're going to do it with the disc, and this is where it's going to get even tougher. But it's really important, right? If we're throwing, in order to get more potential for your throws, you need a little more range of motion, and you also want control there. So for me, I have pretty crappy wrist mobility in my throwing wrist. I land on it a lot. A lot of you probably are similar. Just doing this has actually improved my throws even without practice. So that's another really cool thing. And I'll get more into that soon. So let's go backhand grip. It's going to be tough to coordinate. You're going to extend your wrist down, rotate towards your pinky, pull up, rotate towards your thumb. Keep a tight grip. Rotate towards your pinky, pull up, rotate towards your thumb. This is not turning. Forearm's not moving. We're going to go one more. Try to keep a tight grip through your full range of motion. Pay attention to where your grip falters. Grip tight. As we extend down, we're going the other direction now. Rotate towards your thumb. Pull up as much as you can. Rotate towards your pinky. If it's burning, you're doing it right. Extend down. Rotate. Pull up. Rotate towards your pinky. Extend down. Last one. Grip tight. Grip tight, grip tight, grip tight. Good. Our goal is to never drop another disc. All right, now shake it out. So the really cool thing there is we are specifically strength training our wrist at really highly specific ranges of motion. So I would try that before and after you throw. The other really awesome thing is that by doing these motions, we are improving the health of our joint. And as the joint health improves, it actually improves the feedback that our brain is getting about where this is in space. And what happens then is the surrounding tissues actually work better, and we are better able to learn. So like, you may make greater gains in throwing and catching by doing this than by continuing to practice. I would recommend both. But anecdotally, I have found that, and it's really, really cool. Yeah, so keep practicing, don't just do this, but if you're injured, a really great way to maintain your gains. So now we get to do the offhand, and that might be a little tougher. We'll see. So we're going to start with a couple reps regular. Okay, so we're going to extend, rotate towards the pinky, pull up, rotate towards the thumb. And by the way, if this is really tough for you and it's really hard and frustrating to coordinate, that is totally normal and okay. I have practiced this like literally thousands of times, and it took me months before I could do it while talking to people. So now we'll rotate towards the thumb, pull up. There's like different levels of it. You know, you do it on your own, then you do it while you instruct people, then you do it with a disc. I'm just trying to level you guys up real quick. So shake that out, and we're going to try doing it with the other hand. If you have trouble catching with your offhand, this is a pretty nice one to try. So you can try backhand grip, you can try whatever grip you'd like here. Okay, you could do like that. All right, so we're going to pull up, rotate towards your pinky, extend down, rotate towards your thumb, pull up. Rotate towards the pinky, extend down, rotate towards the thumb, pull up. Imagine you're balancing something expensive and breakable on your forearm. Don't let it turn. As we come up here, we're going to go the other direction. Rotate towards your thumb, extend down, rotate towards the pinky, pull up. I did these a bunch the other day, and it was really windy, and I was throwing blades to myself. And I caught most of them. So that's pretty much a scientific experiment. I actually was a little bit surprised. So I can't guarantee that this is going to make you really good at catching or really good at throwing, but it will improve your potential. You can relax, shake them out. All right, you probably feel really warm through your forearm and wrist. That's very exciting. It's really, really good for the wrist. Also, if you're at your computer a lot, also helpful to do. So next up, we're going to do some other fun stuff. So we're going to go into, what did I forget so far? Oh, hips, more hips. So what I'm going to have you do is come down to the floor. If you have a block, awesome. If you do not, that's totally cool too. You'll have to be a little bit more gentle, but you could use a Frisbee. So what I'm going to have you do is squeeze a block between your knees. You could also have a Frisbee like this. The goal is we just want some feedback so that your knees aren't moving. Okay, so you're going to just have your knees here. We're going to internally rotate our hips. So to do that, we're pulling the ankles away and then bring them back together. And then pull away as far as you can, hold, and bring them back together. I know this is very exciting. I can tell you're all trying to contain your excitement. We'll do a couple more. Rotate away. Pull back. So feel how your thighs are turning internally. You're pushing the ankles against the end point. Bring it back. We're going to do one more, and I want you to hold a little longer. So rotate, push those ankles away, and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1, relax, bring the legs down. Whew, awesome. All right, cool. Now we're having some fun. So internal hip rotation for the shoulders and hips, internal rotation, whoop, is the most important. If your rotation is not great or it doesn't feel awesome internally, prioritize that. Practice it a lot and your overall joint health will improve. Now that we're down here, we're going to work shoulder flexion, which important for skying people, important for laying out. So, of course, we're going to use a disc if you have it. Right? So if you're laying out, you're going to hold the disc like this. Let's bring your dominant arm forward first. You're going to lie down. If you're somewhere where you don't feel like lying down, you could kneel, and if there's a table, you could kind of come back like this, or a couch, so that your arm is extended, or flexed rather, but you're going to get like a 180-degree angle. So we're lying down, just like this. This is a perfect time for people to walk by the window, and they are. Perfect. You're going to hold, and what I'm going to have you do is take your other hand and put it under your forehead. You're going to lift your arm as high as you can off the floor, hold, and bring it back down. All right, try to use your shoulder muscles to lift, chest stays down. Then, what I'm going to have you do is do it again a little bit longer. So, you're down, you're going to lift your shoulder off the floor and hold, and back down. All right, we're going to do one more, and I want you to this time grip the disc really tight. Grip the disc really tight however you want. Okay, lift your arm up and hold, and back down. All right, so from here, we're going to do a couple more things to make this a little bit more challenging. So this is a position we tend to end up in when we're laying out. And of course, we experience really high levels of force. So we're going to start to make you create more force here. By lifting, I'm making you create force, but now we're going to press down as well, which will mimic a little bit of when you lay out and land. So arm is out in a fist into the floor. Okay, you're in a range of motion that is comfortable, but you may feel a little stretch. Okay, now slowly, I want you to start pressing into the floor with your fist. All right, so fist is driving into the floor. Now try to press a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, and now lift your hand as far away from the floor as you can. Lift as far away from the floor without your chest moving. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and relax. We're going to do another one, but shake out the arm a little bit if you need to. Let me take a little break for a moment. All right, so this is basically, it's mobility training, it's joint health, but we are preparing your body for demands that are, for most of us, inevitably going to be placed on it. So now we're going to do the same thing. The only difference is once I have you lift, then we're going to do some shoulder rotations while you're hovering off the floor. So like tremendously exciting stuff. All right, ready? So I'll give you a little different angle. We're going to go here. Arm is stretched out. Good. Keep your core solid, core tight. Drive your fist down into the floor. Start building up that pressure. I want you to feel like under your arm, all those stretched tissues, they're working. They're firing up. Keep working for it. Push a little harder. Now lift off the floor, keeping your chest down, lift. Now, while you're hovering, rotate your shoulder back and forth. Rotate your shoulder, internally, externally. It's not going to move a lot. Keep rotating. 4, 3, 2, 1. You can relax your shoulder. You can come out of that position for a moment. And of course, we are going to do the other shoulder. You got 2, so that's pretty cool. For those of you who fling your body around a lot, you may notice that it's not always the shoulder you reach with that gets injured. I just assume everyone's also had dozens of shoulder injuries. Sometimes it's the back shoulder that you're landing. You're not thinking as much about that one. So we're working both shoulders here. So you can grab your disc, bring your other arm out in front. If having that arm really flat and stretched out doesn't feel great, you can always prop your chest up a little bit to take a little bit of that angle away. All right, so you're here, grab that disc however you want to. Okay? And then I just want you to not let the rest of your body move and lift away from the floor. We're warming this up. Lift away from the floor. 3, 2, 1, relax. Wonderful. Take a breath or two. We get to do that again. So I don't want the spine moving, don't want the chest moving. Go ahead and ready, lift again. Away from the floor, keeping the chest down. 3, 2, 1, relax. Awesome. All right, then we're going to do the press down. So, hand in a fist, nothing changes through the rest of your body. Slowly start pressing down into the floor. Drive down into the floor. Build up that tension as long as it's not painful. You're pressing down, lots of force, and lift away. Lift away as far as you can without the rest of your body moving, and hold. 3, 2, 1, and down. Awesome. Good, take a little breather. We get to do one more, so just like last side, we're going to lift, and then we're going to do some rotations, really trying to get your upper arm to rotate here. Okay, GRFTF, get ready for the fun. Here we go. Start pressing that fist down into the floor. Drive down, drive down, drive down. Good. As hard as you can without pain, and now lift away, hold, rotate. Try to rotate your biceps. Rotate that shoulder back and forth, internally and externally. As much as you can without pain. 3, 2, 1. And then you can relax. Whew. Wonderful. Hopefully everyone's still with me. All right, so that's a really good way to get your shoulders ready for high levels of force. Also, this position is getting up overhead. So if you're working on jumping higher, that's awesome, but improving shoulder mobility so you can reach higher is just as effective for improving your skiing ability. Let's go ahead and stand up again. And now we're going to work on the toes. So if you have bare feet, excellent. If you don't, and don't feel like taking off your socks or shoes, that's okay. You can probably still do this. So we're here. You're going to try to keep your feet really solid, and we're going to lift the big toes. Just like that. And then back down. So you're going to try to keep the big toes up for a couple seconds, and pop them back down. And we'll just repeat that for a little bit. So when we are running, when we're jumping, even when we're walking, it's really important to have individual big toe flexion and to be able to activate different parts of our feet separately. Nice. So see if your toes aren't coming up at all, that's okay. This is a good thing to work on. We're first and foremost just trying to gain a better connection with our feet. It can be really tough, especially if you're in cleats a lot, to keep your feet healthy. Cleats kind of narrow our feet. It can make it pretty challenging, but this is a really good exercise to do before and after playing as well, or between games. So now we're going to go lateral toes. You're going to keep the big toes down. Try to lift just your lateral toes, and then set them down. Lift just your lateral toes, and as you lift, do your best to keep the feet solid and try not to let them cave in like this. So it may be tough to do, and again, if it's not happening, that's totally cool. This is not Not something you need to be able to do immediately, but if it's not happening, I would definitely practice regularly. For if you get shin splints, plantar fasciitis, any type of foot, ankle, lower leg issues, improving intrinsic foot control, toe control can really help. All right, one more thing with the feet now. We're going to bring all the toes up. And I don't want you to lift the feet up completely. Keep the balls of the feet down. Lift all the toes. Press just the big toes down, if you can. And back up. And down again. And we'll repeat a couple times here. So part of this might just be figuring it out, that brain-foot connection. There we go. Now, same deal. All the toes are up, and you're going to press your lateral toes down. And then lift them back up. Press the lateral toes down. Lift them back up. This is another thing. For me, just like the wrists, I've practiced thousands upon thousands of times. So if it's not happening, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. It's just a huge opportunity. That's the cool thing. If it's not working great, that means you have a really enormous opportunity to improve. All right, you can relax the toes. Nice work there. We can shake it out, shake it out. Next up, what we're going to do is another hip thing. So here, we're going to do a stretch. Right? So mobility, finally we're actually doing a stretch. Don't worry, I'm going to make you do active stuff too. So you're going to take a knee, if you can, kick your right leg out to your side. Just like this. Then you're going to sit your hips back and bring your hands down like this. So I want you trying to get a nice stretch through your right leg, your right inner thigh. And just find a position at which you get a good stretch. You might, if you turn your torso a little bit, you can move your foot. I usually kick my foot like straight out to the side. But if you sit your butt back or bring your foot up, you might find a better stretch. So whatever gives you a good stretch here, I'm going to hang out there and just take a few deep breaths. This is our calm before the storm. All right, so another big principle, I talked about active control is really important. Getting into a passive stretch or a passive modality, so if it's stretching, massage, foam roller, whatever it may be, it's really important to follow that up with active inputs. So we're holding a little stretch here, which is great. Stretching is important. But then we want to follow that up to help it stick with active inputs. What that's going to look like here is kind of like what we did with the shoulders lying down. So you're going to take your right hand and drive it hard down into the floor. You can move it wider if you need to. Then we're going to try to lift our right foot off the floor. It's very exciting. Try not to let your torso move. So try to just lift for a moment, and then you can go back down. What you may feel is your lateral glute cramp up a little bit. That is because you're in like close to a passive range of motion, and I'm asking you to actively move it. So you can relax for a moment. If you need to come out of it, that's okay. We're going to do a couple more. If it was really tough, you can widen your hand a little bit for a better base of support. All right, you're going to drive through your right arm, try to pry that right foot off the floor and hold for a moment if you can. And then back down. All right, so our goal is to gain a little bit better control in this position. Another really neat thing, so ultimate players, we tend to end up with a lot of tension in a lot of different areas. A lot of stuff is overworked. A lot of times tension is our body's own response to not feeling safe in a particular position. Before I continue, let's lift this one up one more time. Drive the right leg down, or the right arm down, lift the leg and hold, and back down. Beautiful. All right, you can shake that out a little bit. Take a couple breaths. All right, and then we're going to switch legs. So same thing. So tension is often our body's protective mechanism when it doesn't feel as safe, or there's been some insult, some injury. By demonstrating to our body, like, hey, I can create force in this position, over time, chronically, that can actually help reduce unwanted tension, which is really cool. So it seems a little counterintuitive, like I'm stretching this position, and if this stuff is really tight, if I can activate the other stuff to create control and tension here, I might actually loosen this long term. All right, I know it's exciting. That may not make total sense, but basically, if you have chronic tension places or pain, and you're able to, over time, demonstrate to your body that you have control and strength there, you can ease that tension. So here we go. We're going to drive the left arm down, pry the left leg off the floor. See if you can lift it for just a moment, just a little taste, and then set it back down. Whew. All right. Very nice. The further you stretch out there, the deeper into a stretch, the harder it's going to be to lift. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more. Go ahead and drive down with the left arm. See if you can lift the left leg for another second or 2 and set it down. Wonderful. And if you're wondering, yes, you absolutely can do this with ankle weights. Really, if you want to get the party started, it's great. I should mention, so I'm in Bala Cynwyd Smile Fitness. I have a studio here. Once we're done social distancing, I'm going to be doing more mobility classes. I have plenty of ankle weights for you. Plenty. All right, so let's go one more time. Drive down with the left. I give you a little extra break there. So lift, try to hold for another second or 2. Lift, and back down. Beautiful. All right, you can shake that out. Shake it out a moment. Whew. Hopefully we're feeling pretty good. We're almost there. I got a couple more things for you. All right, so we're going to stand up now. And I just want to connect some of what we're doing with a little bit more with ultimate. So the stance we were just in with the legs out, I mean, that's a common position. We're going to end up there. Sometimes you might lose your feet or slip. But also pivoting, right? If you want to step out, we don't just want to be able to get here. We want to be able to get here and actually have control and not risk ripping something, right? So what I'm going to have us do is we're going to pull ourselves into this position. We've kind of primed it with what we just did. So you're going to get a wide stance, okay? I'm going to have you start going the direction of your forehand. So if you're a righty, you're going to go to your right. If you're a lefty, you're going to go to your left. All right, so leg is straight. Pull into your hip. Yeah, there you go. You can grab a disc. Where's my disc? As low as you can go. Then drive back through your heel slowly to drive yourself back up. So our goal is to create as much full body tension in every angle of this position as we can. We're going to go for another one. We're going to go for 2 more. Pull. If you're comfortable with it, you can lift your toes. I know it might be a travel, right? That's okay for now. Pull down, or you could try to keep your toes. Drive back up. Nice and slow. Good. Then we're going to go for 1 more. If you want to widen your feet, you certainly can. Actively pull yourself in. You're using your hip muscles to pull yourself in as low as you can go and as far as you can go. Nice. Then actively drive yourself back up. Right? Pretty cool to be able to get into a really deep, long lunge to throw and be able to drive yourself back up quickly, right? So I've noticed improvements for myself. I was never like an excellent thrower, but to be able to step really far out and come back immediately is really important. So now we'll go to the other side. All right? Offhand. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to pull, get that stretch here, sit the butt back, pull into this, keeping the foot down first, just to ease into it. Drive back up. Drive back up. Awesome. Then we're going to pull down a little further. You can lift the toes, or you can kind of turn the foot to try to pull as far as you can. Drive through the heel, create force in your hip, in your thigh. Slowly drive back up. Excellent. If you want to widen it a little bit more, you can. Actively pull down. Pull, 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 pull. As low as you can control. Keep force. You're not losing tension. Now drive yourself slowly back up. This can also, of course, all be done if you hold on to something, if you need a little support to work your way into it. Whew! You can try like a quick one. Be careful, especially on your offside. We're not used to that, right? But it's really important. So we want to make sure we prepare our body as well as we can. The best injury prevention is really proactive preparation for what we're going to be doing. We want to get our body ready. Last thing. We can do this standing. We'll just keep it simple. We're just going to do a little bit of breath work, a little breathing. So I suspect most of you, since you're still upright, have been breathing the whole time. That's wonderful. I'm going to continue that. So let's go. Breathing into your belly. Expand your belly. Expand your sides as much as you can. Up into your chest too. And then nice, big, long exhale. Good. Breathe in, expand. Nice, long exhale. Now I want to focus on about a 4 or 5 second inhale, expanding your torso as much as you can. Hold your inhale for 4 seconds. And then exhale for between 6 and 10 seconds. Long exhale. Long. Force the air out. And then repeat that a couple more times. So inhale for about 4 or 5 seconds. Expanding. Hold the inhale for about 4 seconds. And long exhale. Our ability to breathe and control our breathing directly affects the state of our nervous system and our ability to create tension, control tension, and also manage pain. So breathing is really fundamental. It's really helpful to practice expansive breathing, long exhales to help alleviate tension. When I initially feel pain, over the years my response has changed a lot from initial tension and worry and doubt to, okay, like I'll let whatever thoughts pop into my head I want, but I'm going to take some deep breaths, I'm going to try and smile, I'm going to try and think objectively about what I'm feeling. And more often than not, some very gentle movement in whatever area doesn't feel great, and some controlled breathing can help you feel a lot better a lot more quickly. So thank you, everyone. Oh, wait a second. Oh my goodness, I was looking at the wrong clock. We have more time. This is great. Okay, don't worry. We're okay. I have a clock. It says 1 o'clock. I don't even know what I'm thinking on the side. We've got extra time. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our discs. This is awesome. This is very exciting. I feel like my life just got extended. All right, so you're going to go standing. I'm going to kneel just so everyone can see me clearly. We're going to do shoulder cars like we did in the beginning with our discs. So you can hold it however you want. You can hold it in a flick grip. You can hold it in like a I'm skying the crap out of someone grip, whatever you want. We're backhand grip, and you're going to bring your arm across, externally rotated, across your body, reach up as high as you can go, internally rotate, reach back behind. Good. As you come down to your side, observe how that grip feels, then we're going to go back. Reach back. Continue to grip tightly. Externally rotate. Reach way up. Continue externally rotating as you come down. Excellent. We're going to go for one more. All right, so create more tension. Squeeze tight. Squeeze tight. Reach up. Internally rotate as you reach back behind you. Good. As you come down to your side, chest is staying up. Reach back behind again. externally rotate, reach up, cut across the body. Beautiful. All right, cool. You can shake that out a little bit. So we'll go other side. But yeah, it's helpful to see like at what positions do I feel like I have the best grip, worst grip. This is all information that you get to gather in yourself. So we'll go other arm, however you want to grip it. Externally rotate, reach up and across the body as high as you can. Internally rotate, turning the biceps, reach back behind you. Chest stays tall. You can come down to your side. Then we'll reverse. Reach back, externally rotate as much as you possibly can. Come up, across your body, and back down. And we get to do one more. Try to grip even harder on this one. Up, across your body. Way overhead. Internally rotate, reach way back behind you as much as possible, and down, and then back. Rotate, up, and across your body. So the CARs, the controlled articular rotations, really, really effective for overall joint health, preparing your body. The stuff where you're gripping tightly and going more slowly, that'll help for more intense activity, preparing you for more intense activity. Now, your call whether you want to hold the disc or not. We're going to do elbow CARs, so elbow rotations. So I'll show you without, but you can do whichever you'd like. So you're going to take your arm, elbow is at your side. You're going to rotate your elbow. So rotate your forearm. Your upper arm is not moving, just your forearm. All right. Then you're going to rotate so your palm is out. Imagine you're holding like a 10 to 100 pound weight. Something mild. I don't want to make any assumptions about how strong everybody is. Then we'll pull up, squeeze the biceps tight, pull up as high as you can. So it's like a bicep curl. Then you're rotating away and pressing down. Upper arm doesn't move, rotate, pull up, rotate, press down. Then we're going to reverse. So then, top of the hand is pulling up, folding over, rotate, extend down slow. Upper arm doesn't move, rotate, pull up, rotate, extend down nice and slow. Nice. Elbow stuff is also not uncommon. All right, particularly, I mean, the ultimate community now is like really into strength and conditioning, and that probably even more than like the throwing. People get all kinds of elbow tendinitis, issues with the wrist, forearm, even shoulder issues sometimes can be an issue with the elbow. So fully rotating with the flexion and extension can be really helpful. So now let's go the other arm. Elbow comes to your side. Upper arm doesn't move. Let's just do a couple of these. This is really easy to cheat, all right? So it's really easy to like turn this. Okay, so focus on just the lower arm rotating. Now we're going to have the palm out, pull up. Imagine this is like a hinge. You're folding over, extend down. Rotate out, pull up, fold over, and down. Nice. So now we're going to come up, pulling the back of the hand up. We're folding over, extend down, keeping tension in your arm. Rotate, pull up, squeeze, fold over, and down. Awesome. All right, cool. So just keep that in mind. So for me, mine is not super ideal because I have worse mobility in the shoulder, wrist, and elbow of my throwing arm because it gets injured a lot. So the more mobility you have, generally speaking, the better, but you want to make sure you're doing a lot of active stuff to create strength within the ranges you have. Lots of range of motion without much control is a bigger injury risk than less range of motion, but a higher proportion of your range controlled. So, one more big thing. Let's talk hammies. Lots of hamstring issues as well. What I'm going to have us do, if you want to hold on to something, you can. If you want to stand wherever you are, that's totally cool too. And we're going to bring your right leg up like this. Knee comes out. Try to keep your knee as high as you can. Extend your leg as much as possible. And pull it back. Awesome. Lock out your other leg. Knee comes as high as you can now. Don't let it drop. Extend and hold. And return. We'll go one more. Extend, hold, and bring it back. You can shake that out in a moment. So active control here, right? Our ability to activate all these tissues when they're short helps to reduce tension here. Very cool. So now, other leg, pull the knee up as high as you can. Extend, hold, bring it back. Excellent. Knee up even higher if you can. Lock out here, extend and hold. And return. Wonderful. Whoop. Good. One more time. Up really high. Nothing changes. Don't lean back. Don't lean back. Extend. Hold. This stuff is working. It's really exciting. And bring it back. Wonderful. So, again, for those of you in the area, I am in Bala Cynwyd, right at the corner of Montgomery and Bala, by the BMW place. I'm hoping, I'll keep everybody updated, hoping to open back up at some point. I want to make sure that I'm really smart about it, but I do have some online mobility stuff that I'm working on currently, specifically for ultimate people. I've been working on it for a while, so I'm very excited. And I've been talking about it, a little out of breath. Does anybody have questions? We're feeling pretty good? Cool. Well, thank you all for joining. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for having me.